Welcome to Performance Sales Consulting. We're going to talk real quickly about mirroring technique. Now, this is a very important technique that you can use, and if you do it correctly and you don't come across as creepy, it's very advantageous. Now, as we often talk about, sales is very much about listening. It's not about telling or promoting. It's about listening, about asking questions and listening for the response, and then being able to identify potential concerns, being able to get out of the person what they're concerned about, overcoming those concerns, and then moving on, right? Finding solutions that fit their needs. Part of the way we do that is through mirroring. Now, there's two types of mirroring. One is mirroring by language. Let's talk about that first. This is what they might use in the CIA. This is what they might use in the FBI. Okay, you're sitting across from someone and you want to show understanding or make sure, A, that you understand where they're coming from, that you're empathizing with them, you know what they need. And B, it allows you to show that you're connected with them and that they're being heard, right? So make sure you're on the same page, and also they feel like they're being heard, and they're going to be much more open to further dialogue with you and to trusting you and to feel comfortable enough to buy. So it might go something like this. The other person you might ask them a question. How do you feel right now about your fitness goals, or where your body is right now, your physicality right now? How do you feel about it? Scale from 1 to 10, whatever. And they might say something, like, I feel embarrassed. I'm not reaching my potential. I'm so much more than this. I feel ashamed, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Mirroring would be repeating what they said back to them, specifically the last part, the portion of what they were saying, to show understanding and to show that you're actually listening, right? It builds rapport, it builds empathy, all right, or shows empathy. So you might say something like, oh, so you feel ashamed. It sounds like you feel really like you're not reaching your full potential, and you feel like there's much more that you could be striving for, that you're more than this, right? And I might even say something like, I might take it further than mirroring, because that was mirroring. How do you feel about that? That must feel really tough for you. That must be very tough for you, right? It shows that you're listening. It's showing that you can empathize, right? And then you can take it any direction you want from there. But that's listening, right? You're really listening. You're just mirroring what they said back to them in different ways, okay? Essentially. Right? I like to go a little bit more further than that, but I don't want to mirror directly back to them, and I don't want to do it every single time either, because then you seem creepy, and then like you're robotic, and you're not really listening. You're not being a human being. You're just repeating stuff to repeat stuff, right? The other method of mirroring is a little different, equally powerful. Let's pretend I'm sitting at a desk with a potential client, okay, prospective client, and we're speaking face to face. You can do this also like I'm doing it now. You can do it virtual. You can do it remotely. This is going to work a lot better, obviously, if it's a face-to-face interaction as opposed to the phone, although you can mirror using your voice. So if they're talking real high, maybe you talk a little higher than you normally would. If they need to be soothed, you soothe, right? There's different ways of doing it. But, you do it in a calming presence. You're a calming presence for them. Whatever you need to do. You can slow up. You can, whatever needs to be accomplished, you can use your voice to do, okay? Now, mirroring in terms of being in an office with someone, sitting at a desk, what have you, and the one-on-one interaction works differently. If they're sitting, I'm going to mirror their physiology, their body language. If they're sitting like this, I might sit like this and mirror them very nonchalantly. You don't want them to pick up on it necessarily, at least not consciously. You want them to pick up on it subconsciously. If they're sitting like this, maybe I'll sit like this. Or maybe I'll just be more open to get them to open up their body language so they're more receptive to me. Just constantly being aware of those things. Now, this does two things. It accomplishes two things. One, it shows the other person that you're empathizing with them, or that you're listening, perhaps, right? It makes them feel like, maybe subconsciously, they're more in tune with you, or you're more in tune with them. They're doing this, you're doing this. Simpatico, right? Empathy, right? Just don't be creepy. If they're doing everything and you're mirroring everything they do as soon as they do it, that's a little bit creepy. So don't do that. But the other thing that it does, and this might be the most important thing, a lot of people miss this as salespeople, or as someone who would date. Okay, this is a human thing. Sales is very intuitive. I'm a very intuitive closer, salesperson, value salesman, intuitive salesperson. I'm not going to give, verbatim rebuttals all the time. I'm going to intuitively listen to what they say, or I'm going to listen to what they say and intuitively give a response based off of how I think they're feeling right now. Now, how are the ways I'm going to feel? How do I know what they're feeling? I mean, they're going to tell me, but sometimes they're not going to tell me. They're going to tell me verbally, but the things that they're not telling me verbally are going to come out in their physiology, their body language. So I'm going to pay attention to that. And one of the ways that the mirroring helps you do that is if they're doing this, and then I do this, it gives me an intuition into their psyche because their physiology is going to mirror their psyche and vice versa. So what it allows me to do as a sales guy is say, okay, it informs me on how they're actually feeling. So I can take all this information that's in front of me, whether it's verbally communicated, whether it's non-verbally communicated, whatever is going on, and it adds another dimension. So if they're doing this, now I can get down that posture. Or if they're doing this, I get in that posture. And now I know, gives me, maybe even subconsciously for me, allows me to sort of feel what they're feeling, their physiology. And then I can intuitively respond in kind and know what to say to help them or to make them feel more comfortable or bring their defenses down or to build rapport, what they need to hear. Does that make sense? So there's two types of mirroring. The verbal mirroring we talked about, which accomplishes the same thing in a different way. And then this physiological mirroring. Both are very important. Body language is the universal language. It is what will tell you what the verbal communication will not. It's 80-some%, 90-some% of communication. Whether you realize or not, you might as well be good at it. All right, until next time, guys, if you have any questions, you need sales training, consulting for you or for your team, I am available. I will make myself available. And quite a few solutions, one-on-one coaching, sales training in small groups, sales training in big groups, workshops. The most important thing to remember here, guys, is it's all customized. There's no one-size-fits-all solution for anything. And what your company needs, what your organization needs, what you need as an individual, whether it's an individual health and wellness, health and fitness practitioner, or whether that's for an organization, your goals are different. What you're trying to achieve is different. What your vision is for your company or for you is different. My solutions for you will be different based off of that. So I'm going to be doing a lot of listening to you. Be doing a thorough needs analysis to figure out exactly what's unique to you, why you're doing this. That's the most important thing. Why it's important for you to take action and invest in something like sales training or sales consulting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen, going to take notes. I'm going to find a unique solution to you, and we'll game plan it together. Free consult if you guys are curious. Complimentary consult. It'll take as long or short as you want. I promise I will not waste your time. And we will talk soon.